Let's settle this once and for all. You think you know which Premier League stadium comes out on top? Think again. I've spent the last 3 months analysing every single Premier League ground for the 2025/26 season, from the cramped terraces of Bournemouth to the gleaming new waterfront fortress at Bramley-Moore Dock. We're talking capacity, atmosphere, engineering brilliance, fan experience, and those little details that separate a football ground from a proper stadium. But here's the thing that'll absolutely wind you up. Old Trafford doesn't even crack the top 10. The Emirates barely scrapes into the top half. And the stadium that's come out number 1? It's a ground that most pundits would never put at the top, yet when you break down what actually makes a world-class stadium in 2025, there's simply no contest. So buckle in, because we're about to rank all 20 Premier League stadiums, and I guarantee this list will have you absolutely fuming in the comments. Context and methodology. Before we dive in, let me explain how we've done this. This isn't some arbitrary list based on personal preference or club bias. We've analysed each stadium across 7 critical categories: engineering excellence, the structural innovation and technical achievement, capacity and scale, not just size but how effectively that space is used, atmosphere generation, acoustic design and how the architecture amplifies crowd noise, fan experience, everything from concourses to sightlines to getting a pint, location and accessibility, transport links and integration with the local area, technology integration, modern amenities, connectivity and digital experience, unique character, what makes each ground special and memorable. Each category gets weighted equally because a truly great stadium needs to excel across the board. Right, let's get started and prepare to be absolutely livid. Bottom tier, the strugglers. 20th place, AFC Bournemouth's Vitality Stadium. Look, there's no getting around it. The Vitality Stadium is simply too small for Premier League football in 2025. At just over 11,000 capacity, it's smaller than many League Two grounds. The intimacy is charming, granted, but when you're trying to compete with clubs pulling in 75,000 every other week, you're fighting with one hand tied behind your back. The ground itself is tidy enough. The 2001 redevelopment gave it a proper 4-sided feel after years as a ramshackle affair. But the facilities are basic, the concourse is cramped, and there's precious little that screams Premier League about the place. The South Stand generates decent noise for its size, but you can't escape the fundamental problem. It's just too small. 19th place, Burnley FC's Turf Moor. Turf Moor gets points for history. It's been Burnley's home since 1883, making it one of the oldest continuously used grounds in English football. The atmosphere when it's rocking is genuinely special, with those tight stands creating a proper cauldron. The cricket field stand and Bob Lord stand pack fans right on top of the pitch. But here's the problem. It feels every one of its 140-odd years. The facilities are dated, the concourse is narrow, and while the club's done what they can with modernisation, you can't escape the fact that this is a Victorian ground trying to compete in a 21st century league. The Jimmy McIlroy stand is a lovely tribute to a club legend, but it's also a reminder of how far stadium design has come. 18th place, Crystal Palace's Selhurst Park. Now this is where it gets interesting. Selhurst Park is absolutely rocking when Palace are on form. The Holmesdale end creates an atmosphere that can genuinely intimidate the biggest clubs in Europe. The Ultras section behind the goal is as good as anything you'll find in England, and when they're singing Glad All Over, the whole ground bounces. But the ground itself is showing its age badly. Built in the 1920s and barely touched since, it's cramped. The sightlines from some areas are poor, and the facilities are frankly embarrassing for a Premier League club. Palace know this. They've got plans for a complete rebuild that would take capacity over 34,000. Until that happens though, they're stuck with a ground that's all atmosphere and precious little else. Lower mid-table, the disappointing Giants. 17th place, Manchester United's Old Trafford. Right, here we go. Old Trafford at 17th? Absolutely. And before you start typing at angry comments, hear me out. Yes, it's the biggest stadium in the Premier League. Yes, it's got history, but in 2025, it's an absolute shambles. The roof leaks so badly, it's been nicknamed the fourth largest waterfall in England. There have been rat infestations. Sections of the ground feel more like a crumbling museum than a world-class stadium. The Stretford end still generates noise, granted, but large swathes of the ground are filled with tourists taking selfies rather than proper supporters. The facilities in the older sections are decades behind modern standards. The South Stand's restricted views are embarrassing for a club of United stature. United know this. They're planning either a complete rebuild or a new 100,000 capacity ground nearby because the current stadium is beyond saving. 16th place, Chelsea FC's Stamford Bridge. Stamford Bridge is living off past glories. Yes, it's got history dating back to 1877. Yes, the Matthew Harding stand can generate noise, but it's a cramped, outdated relic that's been overtaken by modern requirements. The facilities are embarrassing for a club of Chelsea's stature. The concourses are so narrow you can barely move on match day. The shed end has character, but the view from the back is terrible. Large sections of the ground have restricted views due to the supporting pillars. It's a Victorian ground trying to compete in a 21st century world, and it's losing badly. Chelsea's plans for a new 60,000 capacity stadium keep getting delayed, and you can see why. The current ground is hemmed in on all sides. 15th place. West Ham United's London Stadium. The London Stadium is what happens when you try to shoehorn football into an athletics venue. Despite West Ham's best efforts over the years, it still feels like you're watching football in an Olympic stadium, because that's exactly what you're doing. The atmosphere has improved since the early days, particularly in the South Stand where the more vocal supporters congregate, but it's still miles away from the old Berlin ground. The distance from the pitch kills any intimacy, and while the capacity is impressive, half those seats might as well be in the next postcode for all the connection you feel to the action. The running track may be gone, but the legacy of the athletics design remains. 14th place, Arsenal FC's Emirates Stadium. The Emirates at 14th? Absolutely. And here's why. It's got all the soul of a corporate conference centre. Yes, the facilities are excellent. Yes, the sightlines are perfect. But it's got all the atmosphere of a library. The Ashburton Army in the North Bank tries their best, but the stadium design actively works against creating noise. The steep sides that look impressive actually send sound up and out rather than bouncing it around. It's a stadium built for corporate hospitality rather than football fans. Half the crowd disappears at 80 minutes regardless of the score. The clock end is particularly lifeless. It's everything that's wrong with modern football wrapped up in a shiny, soulless package. Arsenal's plans to expand to 80,000 might help, but you can't engineer atmosphere. Solid mid-table, getting things right. 13th place, Fulham FC's Craven Cottage. Craven Cottage is absolutely unique. There's not another ground like it in world football. Sitting right on the Thames with the Johnny Haynes Stand's distinctive roof and the famous cottage itself, it's got more character than the rest of the Premier League combined. The atmosphere is intimate rather than intimidating, but that works for Fulham. The Putney End generates decent noise, and there's something special about watching football in such a historic setting. The recent renovations have brought the facilities up to scratch without destroying the character. The Riverside Stand offers stunning views across the Thames. It's not the biggest or the loudest, but it's undeniably special. 12th place, Wolverhampton Wanderers Molineux Stadium. Molineux has bags of character. It's been Wolves' home since 1889, and you can feel that history when you walk through the gates. The South Bank creates a decent atmosphere, and the ground has that proper English football feel that some of the newer builds lack. The Billy Wright Stand dominates one side, while the Steve Bull Stand houses the most vocal supporters. The problem is capacity and facilities. At just over 31,000, it's on the small side for a club with Wolves' ambitions. The club talks about expansion to 50,000, but those plans seem to change with the wind. Still, what they've got works well, and the tight confines make for an intimidating atmosphere when Wolves are on form. 11th place, Nottingham Forest's City Ground. The City Ground sits beautifully on the banks of the River Trent, and there's something magical about approaching it on a match day. Forest fans are among the most passionate in the country, and when they're singing, the old ground comes alive. The Bridgeford end creates a proper wall of noise. Built in 1898, it's creaking at the seams, yes. But there's an authenticity here that many modern grounds lack. The executive stand may be showing its age, but the atmosphere more than makes up for any facility shortcomings. The Trent End has been the heartbeat of the club for decades. 10th place, Leeds United's Elland Road. Elland Road is a proper football stadium. No messing about, just 4 big stands packed tight around the pitch. When Leeds are flying and the crowd's up for it, there are few better atmospheres in English football. The South Stand is a wall of noise, and the ground has that intimidating feel that can genuinely affect visiting teams. The Kop generates incredible noise, while the East Stand houses the family section. It's built in the 1960s style, functional, imposing, and designed purely for football. The club has plans for expansion, and with Leeds back in the Premier League, those might finally come to fruition. Upper mid-table, the quality tier. 9th place, Brighton and Hove Albion's Amex Stadium. The Amex is what happens when you build a stadium properly from scratch. Opened in 2011, it's got everything you want from a modern ground. Excellent sightlines, proper facilities, good transport links, and a design that actually helps generate atmosphere rather than killing it. The North Stand creates a proper wall of noise, and the bowl design means the sound bounces around nicely. It's not the biggest ground, but Brighton have maximised what they've got. The location in the South Downs is stunning, and the whole matchday experience feels properly thought through. The West Stand houses the away fans, while the East Stand provides excellent corporate facilities. 8th place, Brentford FC's G-Tech Community Stadium. The G-Tech Community Stadium is a masterclass in maximising limited space. Built on a triangular plot surrounded by railway lines, it shouldn't work, but it absolutely does. The design is clever, the atmosphere is brilliant, and it feels like a proper football ground despite being brand new. The 4 stands are all different heights, which gives it character, and the proximity to the pitch means every seat feels close to the action. The fact that they've managed to make a 17,000 capacity ground feel intimidating is a testament to the design. The South Stand houses the most vocal supporters, while the premium seats in the West Stand offer excellent facilities. 7th place, Aston Villa's Villa Park. Villa Park is a proper football stadium. 4 big stands tight to the pitch with an atmosphere that can be genuinely intimidating. The Holter End is one of the great ends in English football, and when Villa are on form, the noise is incredible. The Trinity Road Stand provides excellent views, while the North Stand houses the away supporters. The recent renovations have brought the facilities up to scratch, and the planned expansion to over 52,000 will only improve things. The location is perfect, right in the heart of Birmingham with excellent transport links. It's got that perfect combination of history and modernity that's so hard to achieve. 6th place, Sunderland AFC's Stadium of Light. The Stadium of Light is what happens when you build a stadium properly. Opened in 1997 on the site of the former Monk Wearmouth Colliery, it was designed specifically for football, and it shows. The atmosphere when Sunderland are flying is genuinely special. The noise bounces around the bowl design beautifully. The facilities are excellent, the sightline's perfect, and the capacity substantial. The recent upgrades, including new sound system, lighting, and 5G network, have kept it feeling modern. The location on the banks of the River Wear is stunning. It's a shame Sunderland haven't been in the Premier League to show it off properly, but when they return, they'll have one of the best grounds in the country waiting for them. The top tier, excellence across the board. 5th place, Liverpool FC's Anfield. Now, before Liverpool fans start celebrating, hear me out on why Anfield is only 5th. Yes, the atmosphere on European nights is legendary. Yes, the Kop is iconic. Yes, the history is unmatched. The recent expansion of the Anfield Road Stand has been done brilliantly, taking capacity to over 61,000. But here's the thing. Anfield trades heavily on nostalgia and reputation. Strip away the emotion and you'll never walk alone. And you've got a ground that's been patched up and extended so many times it feels disjointed. The main stand is impressive, but the Centenary Stand shows its age. It's still fundamentally an old ground trying to compete with purpose-built modern stadiums. 4th place, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. The most technically advanced stadium in the world, and it's only 4th. Absolutely, because for all its engineering marvels, the retractable pitch that allows for NFL games, the microbrewery, the longest bar in Europe, it still feels a bit clinical. Yes, the South Stand creates noise that rivals anything in world football. Yes, the facilities are absolutely world-class. The technology integration is seamless, from the app that lets you order food to your seat to the 5G connectivity throughout. But there's something corporate about it all. It's a stadium built by committee rather than passion, and you can feel it. Third place, Newcastle United's St James's Park. St James's Park is absolutely unique. Built into the side of a hill in the heart of Newcastle, it's got a presence that few stadiums can match. The atmosphere is legendary. When the Toon Army are in full voice, it's genuinely intimidating for visiting teams. The asymmetrical design shouldn't work, but it creates character that you can't manufacture. The Gallowgate end is a wall of noise. The Leazes end houses the away fans, and the views across Newcastle from the upper tiers are stunning. The recent Saudi takeover has brought investment in facilities, and the planned expansion will only improve things. It's a ground that perfectly reflects its city, proud, passionate, and uncompromising. Second place, Everton Stadium at Bramley-Moore Dock. The new Everton Stadium at Bramley-Moore Dock is simply stunning. Built right on the waterfront overlooking the River Mersey, it's got a presence that few stadiums can match. The design is brilliant. Steep stands that generate atmosphere, world-class facilities, and views across the water that take your breath away. The South Stand is inspired by Dortmund's yellow wall and holds 13,000 supporters in a single tier. It's going to be genuinely intimidating. The facilities are world-class, the technology integration is seamless, and the whole design feels properly thought through. The North Stand houses the away supporters, while the East and West Stands provide excellent corporate facilities. What sets it apart is that it's been designed specifically for Everton. The dock location gives it a unique character. The steep stands will trap noise brilliantly, and every detail has been considered. It's a stadium that announces Everton's ambitions to the world while respecting the club's heritage. The fact that Goodison Park will become the permanent home of the women's team shows the thought that's gone into the transition. The winner, the controversial champion. First place, Manchester City's Etihad Stadium. Right, here's where I'm going to lose absolutely everyone, but the Etihad Stadium is the best stadium in the Premier League. Before you start typing "empty-had" in the comments, actually think about what makes a great stadium in 2025. The Etihad gets unfair criticism for atmosphere, but that's missing the point entirely. This is a stadium built for the modern game. The facilities are world-class. Not just good, but genuinely the best in the country. Every concourse is spacious, every sightline is perfect, every amenity is top-notch. The technology integration is seamless throughout. The transport links are excellent, with the Etihad campus tram stop right outside. But here's what sets it apart. It's been designed to work. Everything about the Etihad is functional, efficient, and effective. The South Stand expansion has created a proper home end that generates serious noise when City are flying. The atmosphere during big matches, particularly Champions League nights, is genuinely impressive. The ongoing expansion will take capacity over 60,000, and the addition of a hotel and entertainment complex behind the North Stand will create a proper destination. The location in East Manchester has been completely transformed. What was once wasteland is now a thriving sporting quarter. Yes, it doesn't have the history of Anfield or Old Trafford, but it's not trying to be those grounds. It's trying to be the best stadium for watching football in 2025, and it succeeds brilliantly. The bold design means every seat has an excellent view. The corporate facilities are unmatched. The fan experience from arrival to departure is seamless. The Etihad represents everything that's right about modern stadium design. It's built for the fans, not for nostalgia. It works, it's comfortable, and it provides an excellent matchday experience. When you strip away the emotion and the history, it's simply the best place to watch Premier League football. The atmosphere criticism is largely unfair. When City are playing well and the crowd is engaged, it's as good as anywhere. The problem is that success has brought a different type of supporter, but that's football in 2025, not a stadium issue, so there you have it. the definitive ranking of Premier League stadiums for 2025/26. I know half of you are absolutely fuming, and the other half think I've lost my mind. But that's the point. We need to judge stadiums on what they actually provide in the modern game, not on reputation or sentiment. The game has moved on, and so should our expectations of what makes a great stadium. Sometimes the best ground isn't the one with the most history, it's the one that does its job best. Everton's new stadium shows what's possible when you build from scratch with modern requirements. The Etihad shows how a purpose-built ground can excel when it's not trying to be something it's not. Old Trafford and the Emirates might have bigger reputations, but reputation doesn't keep the rain off your head or get you a pint without queuing for 20 minutes. In 2025, functionality matters as much as atmosphere. Right, I'm off to hide from the angry comments. Let me know what you think below, and if you're an Everton fan, enjoy that new stadium. It's absolutely magnificent. We committed to releasing 2 videos a week. Like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more visionary builds.